Hi, you're listening to the
The
Four
Four
Takeaway
Takeaway Podcast.
Podcast, where we talk about anything and everything on the menu from movies, music, gossip, news, etc., through the eyes of four rather weird individuals.
I'm Heiko.
I'm Hannah,
I'm Hamad.
I'm Yas.
and in this episode, Yas and Hammad are going to dissect and rant about the Philippine epidemic that is the Teleserye, while Heiko tries to comprehend and Hannah tries to digest.
Would you like that for dining or for takeaway?
For takeaway.
You heard that right. We are going to talk about the epidemic that is called the Teleserye.
First of all, I love that we're calling it an epidemic already.
And I don't think Heiko knows anything about this, but I can't wait what Yasin and Hamad does because we are expecting international listeners.
Wait, this is already a part of our official
Yes.
recording
Yes.
stuff, right? Because we're missing a crucial part.
What?
Shouldn't we at first ask each other how we are? How we've been?
Oh, yeah, right.
How we're
right.
doing.
I'm sorry. I was so excited.
I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited too. I'm on the edge of my seat because obviously this title is just But I also really want to know how you are, how you have been. So tell me, but keep it short.
Okay. It's the second day of Ramadan. Is it? Second, third?
Yes, it is the
Second
second day of Ramadan.
Okay.
Ramadan
Happy
Kareem,
Ramadan
Ramadan Kareem.
to everyone out there.
Listening.
And hope you are having a quite good start and blessed start despite the situation.
Yeah.
Now, how about let's ask Hamad because Yasin and I are together
Oh, yeah.
and we're doing fine because mom is just
Baking away.
In her
Yeah.
baking.
baking her heart away.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how about you there, Mad? How are you?
Who's baking for you?
I'm baking under the heat. The inescapable Philippine tropical heat.
That doesn't sound even remotely as delicious as the stories I hear
No.
from Hannah's mom baking. I mean, from
It
your mom
smells
baking.
very
Hannah's
sour
mom.
and I'm very bitter. None of it is sweet.
How about you, Heiko?
hmm
My
How was your
mom
Ramadan?
is doing okay in the kitchen. No one's baking for me, no.
Oh,
No, we were talking about how your Ramadan is.
but that was a good
Like
answer.
like I
Good
said,
answers.
no one's baking for me.
Aw.
Okay, by the way, if you guys didn't get the memo, we're going to be talking about Philippine teleseries.
Oh my god,
which
it's in the
are-
title.
Duh.
No, but they don't necessarily know what teleserye is.
Or like why
right,
we're
right,
talking about it or what aspect we're talking about.
Okay.
So, yeah, we are going to dissect and rant. Why? You'll know in the next few minutes. But Philippine teleseries are like telenovelas or soap operas. They're basically soap operas in the Philippines. And we're going to rant because of a couple. Maybe like 3 or 4? No, maybe like 10 or 20 things and aspects about it that we don't necessarily that we aren't necessarily proud of.
No, we aren't proud of, period. Remove necessarily.
Okay.
It's just outright
Um,
dispride.
so in Wikipedia, if you Google Philippine teleserye or Philippine television drama,
Should I do that now?
Yeah, go
yeah, go
ahead, you
ahead.
guys.
You can,
While
I
you're
can-
listening to this, type away because
Yeah.
Wikipedia is the best source of information.
Yes, everything there is true.
You've heard it from us.
Only reliable sources can edit. Yeah. So it says here teleseries share some characteristics and have some similar roots with classic soap operas and telenovelas. Yet the teleserie has evolved into a genre with its own unique characteristics, often working as a social realist reflection of Filipino reality. Teleseries are aired in primetime afternoon 5 days a week. They attract a broad audience crossing age and gender lines and command the highest advertising rates in the Philippine television industry. The series lasts anywhere from 3 months to a year or even longer depending on their rating.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it says, okay? And by the way, oh no, I just set off Siri. That happens a lot. That's scary. Okay. Um there are teleseries that like go on for multiple years. But
With 1,000 episodes.
yeah, and I'll be saying that and people that's normal. Like TV lasts years because of multiple seasons. But
Right.
Mm-hmm.
these are episodes that are shown 5 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
5 days a week
No
and they
seasons.
last that long. So you're good. No seasons.
No season breaks.
No season breaks. They just keep going,
Just
girl.
keep going
They
5
just
days
keep
a week.
going
Each
and
day.
Yeah,
is a
so
new
what they
episode.
do is,
and
I
going.
think they would film a day,
They film as they go.
film as they go, and if they find out that the public likes it, they keep filming, even if it's no longer
Even if it
in
doesn't
the
make sense anymore.
script, like in the original script or the original screenplay that they thought of.
Mhm.
Oh, they're right as it's going, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So
Feels
yeah,
like it's
now-
it has that authentic component to it.
Yes.
Life.
Yes.
Okay, now
Nod.
that I made everyone
Smile
laugh,
and nod, smile and nod.
how long have those teleseries been around? That's nothing new, right?
Like telenovelas and like soap operas, there's something that's like a staple in the television industry. And when television like started to become a thing, things evolved, and by like around the 1950 mark is when soap operas and telenovelas and finally teleseries
You
became
notice it was
like
when
a thing.
televisions were invented, when we graduated from radios.
We graduated from radios. So yeah. Now that you guys have the gist of what teleseries are, and you have like a sneak peek of our feelings on these teleseries, let's talk about why we are not proud of them.
Okay.
Do you want to start off, Hamad?
Kuya.
Who?
Number one.
Who you talking to?
Oh, Kuya, sorry.
It's cool. Okay. The thing is, I'm no longer, as one, proud of it, with emphasis on was, is because I used to like those things. I used to not mind them.
Uh-huh.
They were good.
Right.
They were
Same.
good. They were good. But then there was this sudden decline. I don't know when. I barely noticed it. It just snuck up on everyone. Well, not everyone, because everyone else loves it for reasons I don't know why. It's because of the quality of it. It just tanked. You know.
When you say quality, what are the aspects that
Yeah.
play into that?
So,
We're gonna break it down from the characteristics, the parts of a story, because you and I, Ate, we're both English majors. We could talk about
Right.
them like we're
Plot.
the plot, the setting, the
characteristics.
characters,
Yeah.
the
yeah.
theme.
Also, we're definitely pointing out that the quality of the product has decreased, and it's not like the quality of your
We're not gonna talk about that.
no, we are.
We're not gonna
Ooh,
talk about
We are.
our likes, our
your taste.
our criteria, our taste.
Right.
Because back in the day, I used to like Power Rangers, and I didn't
Hey.
perceive it as trash. Now I
Hey.
do.
You
I still like it, but
used
now I
to
do.
like-
You're implying that
Is-
Power Rangers are trash? Excuse
No,
me?
What? What? Yes. No. What? Moving on.
First of all, you should not compare teleseries to Power Rangers. Because even if they're like right now, when you watch them, of course, as an adult, you get to see like the props. Oh, that's
One
just
Power
a piece
Rangers
of
episode
painted foam.
has more effort put towards it than one whole month, year of
my
the
God.
standard Philippine telenovela.
Yeah, okay.
Ooh.
Now go back to the characteristics,
I'm
Hammad.
bitter.
Point that out.
I am bitter. Okay, for the plot, what they do to the plot is they murder it. Anyway, how they murder it, let's go to that. For the first quote-unquote season, that's like what, 3-4 months of story, they're gonna have something solid. You know why? Because that's the only part that they wrote for. They only planned the first 3 or 4 months of the whole telenovela and then they
Uh-huh.
see that's a probation period of the telenovela, whether it's gonna stay alive or they're gonna pull the plug on it.
Uh-huh.
Do the people like it? Okay, we keep going. Writing, forget it. Do people don't people like it? Bring it to the back of the shed. Bang, it's over with. Make a new telenovela. Okay, that's what they do.
Oh
It's
wow,
a
I
very
can hear your
brutal. It's a
bitterness.
very brutal food chain up in here in this show business thing. People lose jobs.
But that is so
People
true.
keep jobs depending on what they make. That's why the quality of it as well. It stopped being. They stopped looking for unique stories that are hard to write.
Mhm.
I feel like they went for a broader story that touches more masses.
Yep.
Right. Like the general romance, love triangle,
And someone has
cringy
amnesia.
stuff. Someone dies. Oh, but wait, that character, everybody, all the audience, all the people in the audience and the masses love that character.
Let's
He's
bring him back.
alive.
Let's either chop off a limb so that explains how he survived, or just to make the story more interesting, we give them amnesia so that they forget everything. Oh,
Yeah.
will he remember that this was the guy who plotted his car brakes to not work when he was going down that slope that he totally didn't know he was going to that day? Oh, find out on the next episode. Ugh.
Are you
He's
clenching
so
your
mad.
fists
Okay.
and shaking them while you're saying that?
Maybe.
He definitely is. And this doesn't necessarily only go for the teleserye in the Philippines. It also describes telenovelas and soap operas in general anywhere. This is where it's very prevalent that you can say quantity
Over quality.
yeah, quality matters more than quality. Quantity
Quantity
Matters.
matters more than quality.
more than quality. And that's because they want to be pumping out these episodes day by day, and because of that,
Quality
guys know
takes a
how-
toll.
yeah, exactly. And if you watch these by like what Hamid said a while ago, he was a fan. I was, dude. They
Oh,
know.
you
They
can't
know.
imagine how Yasin would just binge watch
Yes.
teleseries
When I was okay, this was like, let's say, how many years ago? I was like younger.
like a few months ago.
Wow, shut up. That is okay. I loved teleseries. I would sit in our living room, turn the TV on, and stay there and make sure that I'm there on time to watch whatever teleserie I want. But now it's so different because I mean, your brain grows and you
Your
realize
brain grows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
that's a
unhealthy.
very accurate description.
it is accurate, right?
It is,
It grows
yeah.
larger in size.
Yeah.
It takes in more mass.
Capacity also.
And now you just can't help but notice, especially because, as you grow, you consume more media and consume
From everywhere
things, and
else.
your judgment, your judgment.
You develop a
Your
frame of
bar gets
reference. You
raised.
can determine what's
Exactly.
BS and what's not.
Exactly. And now when you watch those that content, you cannot help but notice everything negative about it, because maybe before you would let those slide, and maybe because it was less before, I'm not even sure. But now tell me if you agree, but if you watch and even try at least to digest and see the story and see the good parts of it, you just can't help but see the negative aspects.
Mm-hmm.
And also, one thing is that since now I love filmmaking, and I love
Yeah, I was just about
writing,
to mention that,
and I
yeah.
love being behind the camera. One thing you also notice in teleseries is, because they need quantity, because they need a lot of episodes to be pumping out, these 30-minute long, 40-minute long episodes that are shown in a night or in a day, they can be deduced to 1 minute or two. So a week's worth of episodes could be one episode. And when you combine all of those together, or when you watch an episode, you can cut so many scenes down, so many unnecessary
Throw away a
Um,
lot of trash.
throw away a lot of trash. No, don't say throw away a lot of trash because you're gonna end up throwing the whole thing away.
Oh
But
yeah.
I mean, you can throw some unnecessary things that make it more trash. You know?
You could
Heiko's
make
face is
a
like,
bit of
damn, these people are
a
so
lighter
bitter.
load on your psyche by shaving off unnecessary scenes.
Question.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So would you say there are a lot of people who were really invested in this, like in the long term, and could give you the whole story of any given teleserie from the last
Oh.
of the
Grandma.
last month or two?
Oh.
Okay.
Grandma.
When you ask, one example would be our grandma, and you get to really see how accurate what Yasin said is, because when you ask her, okay, ma, what happened in this episode? She'd be like, oh, he was running away from the villains and he was almost caught by those guys. Next day, okay, ma, what happened in this episode? Oh, he's still running from those bad guys and they almost caught him again.
And that would be an
What
accurate
else?
summary of like 40
Uh,
minutes of action.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Ooh.
because like a normal arc of an episode, let's say an arc of a movie or like any other series, how it plays out, the arc of that takes a week in teleseries to happen, you know?
Oh wow.
Or more.
Is that
Give or
something?
take.
Would you say that's something unique to the
Oh, it's
teleseries
very
kind?
unique to soap operas. Yeah, it's out to
No,
what?
but I don't think it is just unique in the Philippine teleserye. I feel
Yeah,
like
it's not. It's not. It's
No,
not.
it's
we're
everywhere
talking
around
about
the world when you
telenovelas in
talk
general.
about soap operas and telenovelas.
Yeah, it's
their-
understood that it's pumped out for
Yeah.
quality, for quantity, and abuelas and lolas love them. You know.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
you
that's
got a
the thing,
whole
but-
package of that filler meat,
Uh-huh.
and then you only have a
Uh-huh.
tiny morsel of story in the middle of it.
Yes.
Yeah, because I feel like since nowadays that the younger generation have Netflix, have online sources for entertainment, who's left watching TV would be the older people.
True.
And the older people are the ones used to that kind of
Shallow.
content.
Oh.
Yeah. I would say yes, correct. Shallow, because it's easier to understand.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they wouldn't want to bother with very complicated content because they're like what, 75, and they don't have any time for that.
True.
What do you
And,
think are the chances your grandma's going to listen to this?
Nil.
I think she's so super busy watching Provinciano. Is that still a thing?
I'm actually not
It's
sure
still
if
a
that's
thing.
still
It'll
on.
never not be a thing.
Is it still on?
It's still
Provinciano,
on, I
by the
think.
way,
I don't
is
know.
one of the telenovelas / teleseries in the Philippines, and it's on Netflix.
Oh yeah, they have a lot of.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's still on, dude. Provinciano
many
is still
episodes? How many
on.
episodes?
Yeah,
Tell
and
me.
it has been running now.
Number of episodes 1,126,
It started in 2015,
and it's still running.
and it's still running.
Okay, let
Oh,
me
no,
really
it
quick.
5
ended.
days a week.
No. It
Okay.
ended in March 13 this
Oh.
year.
Oh,
Nice.
it just ended.
You know why
a
it
month
ended?
ago.
You know why it ended?
Why?
The plague. That's it. They
Oh
can't
my
shoot any more
God.
new
Oh
episodes
my god,
because
that's
of it.
true. I feel like.
Otherwise, they would still keep going.
Oh. I wonder how
I
it ended.
swear to goodness.
Do you think it was
they
just like
no?
I think they
everyone
wrote
just
in.
went social distance. Let's all go home for a while.
Yeah. Do you think they wrote in the plague? Okay, never mind.
That's
So-
probably what they did. Like Cardo, I will kill you when the quarantine is over.
So far we have been describing and giving you like tastes of what teleseries we feel are like, and I mean so far it's been almost like a general explanation of what they are, since what we have been describing, people can agree that the same thing could be said about soap operas and telenovelas. Yeah, I say a lot. Okay, so now we
Very
want to
subtle.
get into what makes the Philippine teleseries unique, and what makes it more what how can I say, maybe
Detrimental
maddening?
to the viewing of the audience that consumes it. All right. After plot, of course, comes the setting. The setting I don't have much of a
Mhm.
qualm with. It's not much of a problem. They just Actually, I have a little bit of a problem with it. I don't know where they get these settings from. It's their back door, it's their backyard, it's somewhere behind the building that they shoot from. It's like
It's the mall.
they almost they probably give it as much of a thought as they give making the plot. And also,
Oh
I
my
have
God.
a very personal connection with the setting of Provinciano because
Oh, right.
because
Yes.
let me tell you, because brother, sister, because they closed down my favorite airsoft arena just so they could film their
Right.
their episodes in there. They
Wait,
had to
they
close
closed it for
down the
good?
place.
They bought it.
No. It's not that. They rented it alongside the airsoft place. The problem is
gotcha.
we run on Saturdays. That's also when they shoot.
Ah,
And
penna.
and seeing that they only ended their episode in March 2020, Hamad has not played in that place.
No. They closed down. Unfortunately, before the
Oh.
outbreak quarantine thing. It's
Okay.
unfortunate, but now I'm looking for other places. But then, yeah, what happened. Now I'm stuck in a room. Anyway, it's always going to be the present time also, unless it's a fantasy thing, because it's
Right.
really hard to make props from other time eras.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, they're fantasy settings too?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. We have this teleserye that's called Mulawin, was it? And where
Mulawin.
they're all like
Oh wait,
eagle
remember
people.
this?
What?
I
What?
don't remember that.
It's so
Yeah.
repressed in the back of my head that I can't.
know.
I remember
voluntarily recall it.
Josa.
You remember that one when Twilight came out? They came out with Lobo.
Oh yeah, so Twilight, as you guys know what Twilight is.
You know,
So
vampires and everything.
they did Lobo.
let me
which,
tell you what Lobo means in Filipino.
Okay.
It's probably the same thing in it's apparent. It's just the same thing in Spanish. Wolf.
Okay, I knew that.
Right. Yeah, so it's
So, you know-
basically a teleserye about werewolves
And
falling in love with humans.
similarly, they made one recently called La Luna Sangre. La Luna Sangre. And oh gosh.
The blood moon?
Yeah.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Oh, that sounds
Oh my
watchable.
god. And
Oh.
It sounds watchable.
But you know, if you guys know about Chris Tuckman's Hilariosity review, I feel like or who's that? IHE, I Hate Everything. When he watches like those bootleg cartoons.
yeah.
If you watch it with that kind of
Mentality. Oh, you're
mentality
gonna
or
love it.
enjoy
you'll
You're gonna
love it. Yeah.
But if you
'Cause
take it
it's gonna
seriously,
be a
you're just
fun
hurting
time.
yourself.
Yeah, and you'll just constantly flip your table or like throw your snacks on the TV.
Just
Yeah.
smash your
Poor
remote's
snacks.
pause button. Or just smash the disc. I don't know. Why do
Oh,
you have
imagine
that
if you
disc
keep
or a
smashing
tape?
the pause button. Imagine if you keep smashing the pause button and then one day you just keep watching and then the pause button
You can't
doesn't work.
pause anymore.
Wow.
Oh no.
Oh,
You run out of
No.
pauses. But yeah, the settings a little problematic for me at least. I hate it.
Mm.
Now, characters.
Ooh.
Characters are just like as our beloved college dean told us. I don't know if she told Ate. They're just people that encompass a characteristic. Yeah,
Right.
you have the main characteristic of the character that makes them who they are. Yeah,
Yeah, that's exactly why you have different characters showing
Mhm.
different characteristics because you need that in a film to work so that people
in any
watching
medium. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that people watching it could see what kind of reaction this virtuous thing can do under this situation. What is this
Right.
guy gonna do in that situation? Okay,
Mhm.
True.
so if you pick up a character, take off all that development, and just remove everything that makes them interesting, and then just inject it with a lot of salty water that comes out of their eyes at every episode, you got the character that runs in these telenovelas. They cry every episode. I don't.
Yup. Oh my
Ugh.
god.
My,
Well, I
And
got a very
that's a
clear
really good.
my
picture
cough
now.
That's a
wasn't
really
high
good,
enough. And then someone
Stop
gets
it!
slapped, and then the poor girl slaps the rich woman back, and then the rich woman looks and is shocked and is, oh, how dare you fight back? Get out of my house! Lumayas ka sa pamamahay ko! And then the poor
Oh my
woman goes running away crying, and then the theme music swells up in the background. And then this is the point where Mamang cries her eyes out as well. Ah, why did they do this to my favorite character? It is a very
And
personal experience. It comes from a
it
very
is
personal
very.
space. All of this hatred.
And and that's, oh my god, that's such a good description, because what you described, you can put that in any teleserie running.
Yeah.
Yeah, our main genre is drama.
I think
Yes.
every soap opera's main genre
Provinciano.
Is drama.
Provinciano
Drama.
it's supposedly, was it a series before it became a series in 2015? Was it a movie?
It wa-
a series.
It was a
It was a
movie.
movie.
It was a movie, an action movie.
It was an action movie.
starring, you know,
Mhm.
the king of action in the Philippine cinema, FPJ Fernando. What was his
Poe
name?
Jr.
Poe Jr.
Fernando
I'm
Poe
sorry.
Jr.
I'm sorry. Like Sylvester
It
Stallone,
was
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
like
If they
Sylvester,
were
yeah,
Filipino,
yeah. De
FPJ
Niro.
would be there.
Something of that sort. That was
Right.
him.
So you know,
Yeah.
action, bullets everywhere, flying. He picks up a coffee, someone shoots it, they get in a firefight in a cafe, he has to fight to the death before he gets his cup of coffee. Action!
Yeah.
And
And now he cries every other episode.
Oh no. Because he's
No,
emotional now. He's not afraid to commit that he feels
Oh no,
things.
I have no problem with people, with manly men becoming like crying their eyes out for something that matters. You know?
But coffee matters.
Yeah. Yeah, you've changed
especially
my
in
outlook
the
for these
teleserie
series.
world.
I will now go and binge watch it.
So
But yeah,
yeah,
The thing
And-
is, it came from that, and now it's this. That's what I have a problem with.
hmm
Mhm.
and that description you just did about, that poor woman and that rich woman and the crying and everything about that it proves that these shows and soap operas and any kind of media that is that type anywhere in the world, they have a formula, and that's what they rely on all the time.
numbers, they're numbered.
Yeah. Like equals MC squared.
Mhm.
They follow that? No. I'm sorry. That was really a bad
Lame.
joke. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Uh,
We were just gonna let it go and not
I
Not
know, but you
mind
had
it,
to.
Yeah, I
but
had
then you
to. I
had
had
to
to.
go
I had
acknowledge
to.
that it
I'm
was a
sorry.
bad joke. Now we're doing it all.
yeah. Okay,
Anyway,
enough.
carry
I mean,
on.
you could
Lame.
have just told us that we're too old
Please.
to get it.
No,
Right.
no. Okay. So they have this formula, and this formula is very important for them. It's very important to them because I'm not, and I don't know anything that goes on behind the scenes. But what I imagine, what I see is that these executives that are responsible in that field, it's almost as if they feel like without that formula, without that structure and how it's like so similar to each other, I feel like they think it's gonna lose integrity to the Philippine teleserie. It's gonna be like, oh, people are not gonna enjoy them because they're not used to that. It's not gonna be a good thing, and teleseries should just stick to being teleseries and stay almost the same. And that could be a problem. That could be a good thing, and that could also be a problem. It could be good because yes, teleseries, soap operas, telenovelas, they're a thing. They're something
also,
that
the more,
is like
the more
sacred.
time
and-
you spend on something, the better it becomes, right? You're supposed to develop it.
Yeah, so it's good in a way where they want to preserve that kind of cultural aspect,
and
where
hopefully
it's like,
improve on it.
oh, yeah, but it's gonna be bad when when you don't want to improve anymore and
Yeah,
you,
when
you
it
don't want to change
stops you from
anything,
developing.
even if it's almost like a broken record, even if it's like already drilled into people's brains and very predictive and very something you can't almost consume anymore because of how bad it is. That's when it becomes bad.
Wait, don't you have friends your age who watch that?
No.
You don't have to. Don't give me any
Bold
names.
of you to
God no,
imply
but
that I have
Maybe-
friends.
Maybe I was friends with them, and then I realized they watched Teleserye, and then we're not
Whoa.
friends anymore. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
No,
I'm
I
kidding,
do
not
not
kidding, yeah.
know anyone. I do not know anyone who watches teleseries.
Except for
Oh.
grandma.
Yeah.
I know we do. There are definitely people.
There are definitely people, but then the thing is, it's the ones who are invested in these shows, I'd say, would be the average Filipino person. And that means like
What you
Like-
mean?
the average Filipino would be what? Like middle class working class people who just wants to relax by the time they get home and watch something that's easy
To
To
and
digest.
easy to digest, yes, and easy, like constant, you know,
Yeah,
like
like
nothing-
continuous white
Programming.
noise that just.
nothing too complicated for them, characters that they could relate to, drama that strikes their heart, and if that changes, they lose interest because then, oh no, I can't relate to this anymore. Yeah, and it's something that I have to think about. This is complicated now. I don't want to think about this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I want to say I do, but why would you say something so controversial yet so brave?
I don't think that's
Because it's the truth.
controversial. Is it?
I
Would
don't
that be a
know.
controversial thing to say?
Oh, if you
Maybe
look at it some
because-
way.
Yeah.
And
Some people are going to be
from that,
what you call it?
No,
They're
I
going to
mean,
defend
there's
it.
nothing wrong with that. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that. A lot of us are afraid of change, and especially if we gotten used to a certain thing that we like doing, and then suddenly they change it to what? Like, imagine changing the whole teleserye thing into a series
yeah,
that's
like,
that just happens once a week, or something about like Sherlock, if ever you guys have watched that. Uber complicated, something that you have to think about with characters that are in no way relatable.
actually, like from the past decade, maybe not decade, maybe like 5 years ago, you can actually notice that since there are more and more younger people getting into the business, you would notice that sometimes they're actually already milking it. They're gonna milk
Mhm.
that aspect of cheesiness and soap opera-ness and teleserye-ness. They're gonna milk that because they're like, okay, if people are gonna hate on this, which they understand since they're, new to the business and they're young and they have that view and perspective too, you would notice that they're using that and they're like trying to make it as if they're gonna hate us, we're gonna take what they hate and make it our thing.
Oh, it's like
And that
the
is-
bad publicity
noticeable
still
now.
publicity kind of thinking.
Yeah, where
So like they just make it oh, it's bad, let's make it worse.
yeah, like they would in recent teleseries that have just aired or aired a couple years ago, they're bumping up the sound effects, they're bumping up the camera movements, they're bumping
Yeah.
up the attitude of
zooming into the
of the characters, you know?
for no reason.
they're milking it, like they really want to make it obvious
Yeah.
that this is a soap opera. This is what a soap opera is, and we're gonna show it. We're gonna tell it to you
Oh
right to your
man, I
face.
hate that. I hate that
And-
mentality, dude.
And there's you can think about it many ways. One is that, hey, this is like a cool thing. They're having fun, but still making it like a real soap opera, you know. But
Yeah.
then again, the thought comes in where, what are you doing? You're making television, but it's not television anymore. It's
Trash.
like yes, and
Quite literally.
the thing is, yeah, there's trash TV everywhere. Okay, there's trash TV in every
And
country,
there's a following for that.
and there's a
And
following for that.
sometimes
Yeah.
I'd I would have phases
Sometimes, yeah, you
where
would have a
I
mood
would
for that, right?
watch trash TV.
Reality
yeah.
TV, you know, those
Mm,
Just turn off your
horrible, like
brain
it's
and
not good for
enjoy
your
kinds of
brain kind
things.
of TV.
yeah.
Well, it has
And
become
that's
its
good.
real genre, right? Not just with series
Yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
TV
Yeah, it
shows.
became a real genre, like trash TV and reality TV. And that's good when it's a sector. You know, that's
Yeah,
good when
it
it's
shouldn't be the
it's something
norm.
on the side. But in the Philippines,
It's the norm.
teleseries run the television industry. They run the media.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
not really they run the media, but they're the main thing that people look forward to when they turn on their television sets.
We have night soap operas. We have prime time soap operas, and we have soap
Night
operas that
soap operas.
yeah, like those
Prime time, those are the ones that are like, oh, this is the new big soap opera.
yeah, that's
Oh, I
prime
thought
time.
it was
like
a soap opera about knights and castles and princesses.
no, no, no,
Oh, no,
as
no.
in NIGHT.
Oh, it would have been so
So
nice.
so
That'd
prime
be
time,
nice,
and then
yeah.
there's some where they just air in the weekends, or some where they air on lunchtime, and then morning as well. So it's like everything just about
Hmm.
soap operas now, and it's not just a genre, but it's more like it's either news or soap opera. But I'd like to listen to what Heiko thinks about that, if there is kind of like an equivalent when it comes to your
Yeah.
television network.
I mean,
Not
the way
network.
that you describe it,
I mean,
I come to
networks or television.
the way that you describe it, that sounds horrible. Just
And we
Yeah.
not so much the quality of the shows themselves, because we have that too, and I think every country has its own distinct type of telenovela slash teleseries slash Seifenoper and so on. But when you're saying that there's just a choice between, what was that, news, variety TV, and that
Right.
sounds, oh my god.
And we have to cut Philippine media
Some slack.
some slack because sometimes they're good.
I like underrated directors, or like those starting directors, or they're
Yeah, because they bring
indie
something new to
Yeah,
the table.
yeah.
They're
Yeah,
not
because
stuck in the
they're
same
good.
bog, just weighed down with the
Because
same
they're
mud
young.
from decades ago. We have
Wow.
this movie series in the Philippines that's threatening to become a teleserye too. It's called Monopole. I don't know when
a
it stopped.
teleserye Monopole.
No,
But isn't there like 8 Monopoles already?
There are 12, I think.
Oh
and
my
I think there are
goodness.
more. That's why I'm saying that it's almost turning into a teleserie, because it's just become this formulaic thing that you do over and over and over again, because people recognize it every time
Yeah.
you throw it out. That's the only thing that's there, and people recognize it. There's nothing new anymore.
That's how it is. Like when that formulaic trend of the teleserie is being pumped out and being forced into people's television screens, and that becomes the culture, and that becomes what TV is. When that peaked, that seeped into the movie world. That seeped into the film world, where they also think that people
yeah.
wouldn't consume other types of
Exactly.
stories in theaters.
Right.
That's why I feel like the past decade there was this whole downhill spiral and really horrible. I'm not gonna filter myself from saying horrible, because it was.
It was.
In the past decade, it was really just going downhill.
You
Like
mean,
the whole Philippine
films?
movie,
Films
and
TV
television.
industry
Yeah, I would
was
say so,
just
like-
like early 2000s for Marvel. That was our whole decade.
You mean like the Hulk movie?
The first Hulk movie with Eric
Oh,
Bana,
anything, dude.
the first Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck, the Catwoman
Things
movie
like that.
with
That was just being
Halle
pumped out
Berry.
every
Halle
year.
Berry.
that was just every day in the Philippine industry. Bam,
Okay.
bam, bam,
And-
bam.
And the thing is, we have this what you call what do you call MMF?
MMFF. It's the
MMFF. It's
Metro
Oh.
Manila Film
Metro
Festival.
Manila Film
Goodness
Festival,
me.
where it's like I look at it as a way for local movies to
to shine.
Yeah, to
right?
shine, to get their own
And
limelight.
I'm all for supporting local things. I mean, yeah. But then in the past years, I can't. Even though I try to, even though Though I want to recognize these
Exactly.
Filipino filmmakers and these Filipino movies,
Because
you can't.
instead of it being that, recognizing the content, the directors, the film, the filmmaking aspect of it, it becomes a money making machine.
Yes.
It becomes just
Exactly.
another
'Cause
paycheck.
Instead, okay, this is, oh my god, I want to describe it in the best way possible. The movies that come out in the Metro Manila Film Festival each year, some would be good
Mhm.
because there will never be no people that don't appreciate filmmaking. But the bulk of it, or something, a staple in the Metro Manila Film Festival, is a movie that is written purely to get people in the theater,
Paycheck movies, yeah.
not to make a movie. They write in cameos
Yep.
of dozens of celebrities so that people would see them. They write in the stars of that year that people love to see, and the story isn't necessarily a story anymore.
It's not. I don't think you could even discern a story
It's like
at
a
that
string
point
of
because
skits that is bound together by
Right.
a shallow story.
It's not a movie. It's something to get money out of. So we've been talking about the downward spiral, and we've been so critical, but in recent years, it's like slowly trying to climb its way back up because
Mhm.
we've been noticing
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of great new Filipino directors, new filmmakers. You
But
know,
I would say not in Teleserye side.
not in the
No,
teleserie, definitely,
not at
because
all.
it
In
became
That thing's a
you know,
sunken ship
film
already.
side.
because they distanced this the people who want to do um like want to create their own new content, want to distance themselves from that.
Right.
So if you're a good director, the teleserie field is just rife with your opportunity. If you go in there with something that's even modestly good, you're good to go.
True. And I also think it's because of the access of, how so many people have access to so many things now that indie and independent filmmakers are a dime a dozen now. That in the Philippines it's so good because people, without the permission of executives in those networks and those production companies, they do what they want, and it becomes the good type of thing.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, one of the
they
one of our
don't.
strongest contenders in good movie making are indie directors.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. True.
Okay, we went off. We went like off.
Nah,
we
I
got
was holding
angry.
back.
Yeah, you were. I can tell. Because if you didn't hold back, you would just be silent for like a minute straight. Then
And
you
then just
then after that minute straight, you'll be like, "What just happened?" And we're just gonna hear like guns in the background. That's if you don't hold back. So Heiko, with all of that, what do you think of Philippine Teleserye and its its slippery slopes?
Okay, overall, I have to say that I'm sorry to hear that. Seems like it's been a lot of weight on your shoulders that you've been carrying around.
Oh my God.
When, even Hannah has been carrying around for how many years of knowing me now without ever like sharing that? And it must have been a huge pain to
Right.
endure, so I'm deeply, deeply sorry. But it does sound
Yeah.
concerning, because TV is still the main source or the main channel to inform the public of what's going on in
Right,
society,
true.
what's going on in politics and all that. And if people turn away from traditional TV because they're so disgusted by soap operas and teleseries like that, that means, or that could potentially become a huge predicament for all those
It is.
I think it has
Oh my
become
God,
a
thank
huge
you.
shows and
predicament
stations.
because
really
Mhm.
shortly, yeah.
it's not just the teleseries now that are being seen or the variety shows. People now, especially in this age, in the Philippines, is not only turning away from that, but also turning away from overall Filipino media because of how
Exactly.
toxic
Exactly.
the whole thing is. So I would say that I do not get any of my news, my local news, from any of the TV networks now or news media, local news media, because I don't trust it at all. And I do not like to be entertained as well by the variety shows and the teleseries of in the Philippines. Not because I'm not nationalistic. People who know me knows how much I love my country. It's just because for me right now it's like an insult to the country.
Almost like a toxic positivity thing, you know?
Right.
Yeah. And now if you look at the young people, because of that, that's such a good statement, because you can see how true that is based on what people from the age of, let's say, 20,
Mm-hmm.
25
Yeah.
below, 20 or 30 below, consume, what media they consume. They
Mhm.
they completely, almost completely, like a high percentage of them turn away from
Yeah.
Philippine media and turn away from Philippine culture even.
Right.
That's how like extreme it has gotten, that they consume Western culture a lot,
Right.
even turn to K-pop and things like that,
Yeah.
just because it's like it became a thing to not like Philippine
Yeah,
media.
and I don't like that at
Yeah,
all.
it's
I
not
really don't
good.
like that because um it's not the age of us trying to forget where we come from. If anything, we always have to look forward to that. We always have to look at that. Like we always have to embrace the fact that we're Filipinos,
Yes, yes.
and just seeing that culture in television makes it so sad because as much as you want to embrace that side of our culture, he wouldn't want to be connected to that.
That's
Like,
yeah.
it's like your old friend that you've always loved is just covered in mud, and
Oh.
you don't want to hug that, and you just want to pat it off. So
yeah, you
yeah,
want to pat him off and give him a shower, you know?
yeah,
And I
give
feel
him a
like
good shower,
the small,
give him some new
yeah,
clothes, some
independent.
new Filipino threads, you
Uh-huh.
know, something he could be proud of even. So yeah,
Yeah.
I say
and the independent.
if the current Philippine television industry dies off just to give birth to a better, more higher quality thing, then I say good riddance.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, or just give him a shower. You know, give him a shower and give
well,
him
at
new
this
clothes.
point, I think you'd need
Exactly.
a whole week of bath, not
Yeah,
just a
Therapy.
shower.
because that's still us, you know. Something
that's still us.
something that's going on now is that more and more young people are taking a stand and, you know,
We
giving
need a renaissance, right? Yeah.
yeah, something of that sort.
Because
and
we're
it's
currently in
happening.
the dark ages right now.
And it's happening, you know,
Questionably, but
slowly.
Slowly,
I
yeah.
guess so.
You can't just expect
But
bam done.
I hope our generation would kind of like voice out their concerns and not just go the easy way out where they turn their backs on Filipino media and just embrace the
Yeah, the
Western
thing is,
culture because
It's the
then
easy
they
way
forget
out
their nationality.
because
Yes.
of the people that insult them for it.
Yeah.
You know, you try to improve
Mm.
something, and then there are just people who are like, "Oh, if you're so good, then why don't you do it?"
okay, that is
Yeah,
such a
okay,
thing.
you're the
Yeah.
genius,
And that's
right?
for another
Like,
that's for another episode because we
just-
can go on and on.
Yeah, it's never gonna end.
Yeah, but I see there's a huge potential to make this a weekly thing.
Yeah.
Not just like a podcast about like different topics. No, just that. Just continuing, just like
Oh,
the
It's
truly?
just
series
years
themselves.
upon years
That's
of
true.
pent up
That would-
aggression
oh.
against
Because
this
if
one
you-
thing.
Yeah, because if you put in the thought of how talented Filipinos are, I mean, if you look at animations outside Philippines, there are a lot of Filipinos who
Filipino
are
animators.
Filipino
because the thing
animators
is,
who do
the
good
media
jobs,
is
but
just-
they'd rather go out of the country than stay in the country.
And do
Yeah,
it
that's
there.
called
do
the
it
brain
there.
drain.
Because they can't, you know?
Philippines has been going through something called brain drain, wherein the able, the intellectually capable people are just
Just
leaving the place for greener pastures because they're just not welcome here.
Yes.
Because the
Because
media
they're
here
not
is so
welcome, yeah.
dominated by that same thing that you can't
Mhm.
make a dent on it. You can't make your voice be heard. So what do? Just go somewhere where your voice can be heard, where your art can be appreciated.
And maybe somewhere in the future, people high up in the Philippine media would hear our podcast and maybe embrace a change.
Either that or they're just
Wow.
gonna plaster us all over the news as haters.
Which is probably what's going to
True.
happen, huh?
Exactly. But
Well,
again,
call me a hater, but
but we're
We-
all for our culture and we're
Yeah,
all for
I
our
need
media.
to
That
hate
we just
this
we're just
because
so
this
sad.
is destroying us. I need to fight
Yeah,
it because
the anger
it's
comes. Yeah,
corrupting everything. It's just making it a drivel of splat. That's it, just splat.
Okay, guys, what's your takeaway? What's our takeaway for today?
At Exhibit A, we have Isao.
okay. What's Isao?
Isao is basically the large intestine of a chicken.
Or sometimes pork.
hmm
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Yep. I have many a memory of this thing haunting my nightmares.
Many a memory.
My college classmates trying to force me to feed on this monstrosity of a dish. But yes, how does it relate to our topic?
Well, that's because when you think about Isao, right, and you think about Teleserye, it seems so nice and tasty on the outside. The whole idea of it, like when you look at the plot, the characters, and all that. But then, when you try to eat it,
Wait. You said the whole idea of it sounds nice.
You mean the looks?
no, the whole idea
visuals?
of like a certain show.
Okay, but how about the Isao? Do you think the idea of large intestine is?
No,
Nice.
like because when you look at it in the streets and then you
Yeah.
smell it
Smells
with
No,
the
yeah,
barbecue
okay.
sauce and
Okay, there we go.
yeah. Okay, so not the whole idea, I guess. Not the idea. Can we
No.
delete this and then let's start
It's all
again?
gonna be in this.
Because I really thought you
Yeah,
meant that it
yeah.
sounds nice
It
to
sounds
eat
nice. that
the large
intestine.
intestine.
Pork, yay.
No. Okay. No. Let's start again. Okay. Okay. So Isao. So Isao, right? So when you think about like teleserye, when you think about the outside view of it, like the characters, the beginning plot
Just
of
the
it, at least
advertisement.
the plot that they introduced in the advertisement.
Just say the
Um,
advertisement.
Yeah, it seems so good. And like the Isao, when
It's
when
alluring.
you smell it in the streets as you pass by, and
Yeah, and people are like, "Oh, try
yeah,
this! It's
and then
so good."
and then sometimes it would even be deep fried. Would
However,
But then you ask, what is that? Well, it's a large intestine of a chicken. You know that intestine where
poop goes through.
poop goes through.
Mm.
We
Exactly.
basically just cleaned it for a minute,
and barbecued it.
barbecued it or deep fried it. Now, take it and eat it.
So basically, it seems like a good idea, but it's full of crap.
Yeah, just like a
Or
teleserie.
fried
Ooh,
butter.
I like that. I like that.
Fried butter.
Fried butter.
Wait, I think fried butter would be nice.
Oh, dude.
What?
Oh, hey, we are not hating on people who love Isao. It's just that when you think
We
about
don't
it,
hate
it is
people
unhealthy.
Who love
Yeah.
Isao. We don't hate people who love teleseries.
We're just
More
saying
power to you.
it's disgusting and you should be ashamed.
I didn't say that,
Stop
but I
it.
agree.
Oh my
I
God.
didn't say that.
Oh no, but we're just saying you can't deny it. It is
It has
Or it
flaws.
was
Stop pretending
full
it
a
doesn't.
full.
crap.
It was full of crap,
It has its flaws.
Like,
Don't pretend it doesn't.
literally.
We don't enjoy those flaws,
Literally.
but
True.
if you enjoy it, more power to you. Okay, respect.
Like when you eat it, don't be surprised if there are brown specks somewhere.
And your
Or
teeth.
Okay.
you would kind of chew on something that is nasty from time to
Really?
time.
Does that really
Or
happen?
corn.
Oh
Yes.
No, I don't
man.
think
it's,
so.
It's
Yes!
just impossible to wash out that small of intestines.
Heiko, what was that? What is that thing where you use the lining, and then you put like you stuff it with meat
Fried butter?
in Germany? No,
What lining?
like you use the lining of
lining of a
lining
what?
of an like a cow, I think. I don't know. And you use the lining of one of their organs,
Stomach
and then you
lining?
stuff it with ground meat and some stuff.
You mean a sausage?
You're describing a sausage right now.
A
yeah.
sausage. Okay, what was the lining? What lining is that being used?
Do you mean the coating?
Yeah.
Probably, mostly, usually,
Stomach.
originally, also the outer
Intestine,
membrane
right?
of the intestine.
See, I was like, they have this thing.
And they even advertise
Sausages,
like
okay,
high
I'm
quality
so-
sausages with like it contains natural intestine. Sometimes it's like artificial
See?
stuff, but the
Yeah.
really good butchers and quality stuff that's always with natural intestine.
Yeah, well, Isao is not
Interesting.
exactly
Wow.
a 5-star cuisine.
It's street food, but there's gourmet isaw now. Do you know that?
Oh, there's
Okay,
gourmet
I
anything.
imagine people listening to this like at night before they go to sleep. I don't want this to be the last image in their heads before we say goodnight.
Or do we?
Rainbows,
Kittens.
kittens,
Unicorns,
Outbreak.
unicorns,
puppies.
cotton candy. Pink.
Okay, that's about it. That's all we can do for you.
Anywho,
If you'd like more positivity in your dreams, what should we
They can
do?
go on Instagram and check out your Instagram account, Hannah. That would be
Mhm.
Hannah Jipuri on Instagram. They could check out Hamad's Instagram account with his amazing art that he posts on a regular basis. Yes, he does. At Potato Gami, potato_gami. They could check out my Instagram account, which is Heiko Heilig at Instagram, and they would come to see this amazing message that says no posts yet. Oh, that doesn't get old, right? Or they could go and check out Yasin's Instagram account at Yaspori. Don't forget to check Yaz's YouTube, Spotify, and other accounts, which are all linked on, I don't know, on here below this, wherever we upload this on. Or just check out his Instagram
Yeah.
and you'll get led from there. What else? Yeah, that's it for
You.
today's episode, right? Tune in next week to find out which takeaways we four weirdos have picked to talk about next. Hopefully that completes your order. Thanks for listening to
The Four Takeaway Podcast.
Would you like that for dine-in or for takeaway?
For takeaway.